Yo, what is up guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video, and this time I have for you today Abyss 1, the Magnus. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to go through every single one of the anomalies in the main quest line, and teach you guys how to get past a lot of the really unfortunate bugs that are present with this content on day 1. Hopefully very soon these will be fixed, but for now if you're trying to do it in the first week, these bugs will be present, and I'm going to give you tips on how to surpass all of those obstacles. Now, starting off, something that's really going to help you with these bugs is make sure that if you can, put your game on remastered mode and very high detail with everything except for depth of field checked off. You're also going to want to have your effect opacity at 100% and have no photo filter. I found that a lot of the bugs many people were experiencing, I did not personally experience, because I think that graphical settings have a major component in your experience here in the Magnus. So if you can do remastered, make sure to do that. If not, please put it on at least medium, because even Pearl Abyss says that you should at least be on medium in order to surpass some of these particular bugs. But outside of that, I will tell you about all the different ways to fix the bugs along the way. One thing that may happen is if you ever do get stuck with one of the particular anomalies, you can always hit your escape key and hit the retry button, or you can hit escape and return to Magnus and then retry the quest over again, and hopefully that is going to solve your problem. But I will tell you some ways to fix it even within the actual instances themselves. So let's start off with the first anomaly. That is the sad red-nosed imp anomaly. And essentially all you have to do here is you need to grab 5 abyssal pearls and you need to bring them to the shining light while avoiding Red Nose's detection cone. After that, a cat will spawn and you need to follow him back up the ramp. A very common bug is this cat not moving. All you have to do is kind of walk around the cat in and out of render range, or simply wait a few minutes. He will eventually go up the ramp and then talk to him. But I actually had no issues with this in the remastered mode, so hopefully with this graphical setting you guys are not going to have any problems. But moving on to the second one, it's called Pendulum Does Clickety Clack Anomaly, and essentially all you have to do is grab the pearl on the ground and you need to go to the other side of the chamber while avoiding all of the orbs along the way. After that, you then have to drop the pearl on the pad. There is really no known bugs with this particular quest, so it should be pretty smooth sailing. Then after that, you need to do the Resolve the Golden Lion of Serendia anomaly. Now this one is pretty filled with bugs, but I can help you out with those. So the first thing you need to do is step on the gold pad in the door until the door stays fixed. After that, you need to go to the waterfall and talk to the waterfall to get a water orb. Now this is an issue that a lot of people are experiencing. If you are having issues talking to this water orb, in this particular graphical setting, which I did not, but if you did, then retry until you're able to talk to the orb. After that, all you have to do is walk slowly through the fire when you have the orb around your character, and after that, you need to stand on the pad at the end of the trail of fire. Once the message pops up that the door is open, or you can visually see that door opening, you should go directly through that entryway as quick as you can, because it will close if Jordan gets too close. Sometimes you will have to retry if the gate never opens. Also, sometimes Jordan will get stuck on the wall when trying to move through the gate. However, if you give him about 30 seconds, he'll eventually get through the gate. After that, in the next part, you need to get Jordan to stand on pad number 1, and then you grab the Abyssal Pearl nearby and put it on another pad until 2 doors open. If Jordan stops and bugs out, or while he's moving he doesn't completely get on the pad or something like that, you must interact with him again and ask him to move again. If he's twitching in place, you need to give him time though, because he needs to be standing still before you give him a new command, because he still might actually make it to the pad. Sometimes it takes way longer than it should, but he may eventually get there. When the doors are finally opened, you need to interact around the room. There's going to be certain things you can interact with to find the first 2 items. Then once you get the first 2 items, you're going to want Jordan to go to the second pad. Place the pearl on another pad. It is a little RNG, but basically 2 pads down at the same time will open up the other doors on the other side, and then you need to grab 2 items in that room as well. Now, in each room, both of them have 2 tables, and you need to place 2 items in one room and 2 items in another. You have 4 items total. Once you place down an item on the table, it'll say something activated in the distance. That's how you know that you got it right. So you need to make sure that it says something activated in the distance 4 times, 1 for each table. After you've done that, you're then able to move on to the next room. So pretty basic. And then in the next room, all you have to do is really kill a boss, and that's pretty straightforward. If he does a big, red animation, you send and Jordan runs behind a pillar, you should run behind the pillar as well. And then once you kill the boss, you are done for that one. Now, the next one is Exploding Fireworks Anomaly. This one is a pretty bugged quest, but it is a very easy fix. This is probably the most notorious one people are having trouble with. When the cannon spawns, and if it spawns above the ground, but it isn't a solid object that you can climb on, all you have to do is just change your graphic settings drastically. So if you are using remastered mode like I recommend, you want to change your graphics to very low, such that your game will have to, actually think and load and take a while to change your graphics. And what I found is this pops the cannon up above the ground and makes it become a solid object. So that's one thing you can do. You can also run far away and have it reload, and that's worked for some people. But this graphical change has worked for most people. If you're already in a very low graphic mode, switch it up to remastered or ultra, and that should pop the cannon out of the ground. And then boom, you'll be able to switch back to your low settings and complete the quest like usual. Now, once your cannon is actually available, all you have to do is just hold LMB and you aim your little indicator to kill the monsters to protect the obelisk, and you can hit RMB after every third, or hold RMB after every third shot to do a rapid fire. Also, if the cannon spawns underneath the ground, like you physically can't see it whatsoever, you need to hit escape and then hit retry, because you cannot fix it at that point. The graphical change fix only works if the cannon is already mostly above the ground, and just, you need to pop it up that little extra bit because the wheels are just, clipping in the ground. So that's how you do that particular one. Now, the next one is the Dragon's Palace Anomaly. This one is super simple, and there's no known bugs for it. You simply follow the path shown in this particular video. All you have to do is interact with each individual orb. Now, this one is meant to sort of be like a little bit of a trial and error one, but you can make it very, very simple by just following this video and interact with every single orb. And so I'll let this play out and let you sort of follow all the path. But if you don't want to follow the path and you do want to try this puzzle on your own, essentially you just click on every single orb, and your goal is to eventually land up on top of a pillar. All you have to do with that particular pedestal is wait for the dialogue to end. And once, it's very important to wait for the dialogue to end, because if you do anything too soon before the dialogue is kind of, spoken, the guy has said anything, you're going to end up kind of bugging it out, and it could, become a world of problems for you. So once you have officially followed all these orbs in the correct manner, it'll put you on that pedestal and you'll be good to go. So once the dialogue is finished, you simply just jump into the water. There will be some boats down below, and that is basically the end of that particular one. Now, the next one is called Some Adventures Grave Anomaly. What you have to do is you need to activate the square obelisk and then just hold your Q and W key in order to roll your way to the yellow beam of light. After that, you hit the beam with your weapons, and then an abyssal pearl will spawn. You then must carry that pearl to the next yellow beam of light and place it on top of that beam, while avoiding the red circles around the little wardens that are kind of preventing you from doing that. But this instance is very bugged, and sometimes the red circles are not present when the wardens are actually searching, or maybe the red circles are there when the wardens are not searching. But it seems pretty laggy, and it seems to be a problem mostly in the EU server, not so much NA. But essentially, it's trial and error if you do have sort of the desyncy sort of red orbs around the wardens. So you might have to go earlier than logic might dictate, or a little bit later than logic might dictate, depending on how much latency you're dealing with there. But it's a pretty simple one. It should be pretty fast. Now, the next one is Resolve the Girl Who Lost the Sea Anomaly. In this one, it is quite simple with very few bugs. You simply must talk to Laura and collect certain materials that she asked for on the Smile Island. If you don't know where a material is, you can ask her and she will give you a yellow orb to follow directly to that resource. But you're pretty much just building a boat, and the resources are pretty obvious to find. You just need to find like some logs and some flint and stuff, and just do the things that Laura tells you to. And if you are having an issue, she will give you a hint on if you talk to her on where to grab the material. But that one's pretty straightforward. Then the next one is called The Only Thing That Matters Anomaly, and what you have to do is just rotate these pillars until they shine gold, and you do this for all 8 pillars. So you just look at the little orbs attached to the pillars, rotate them till they're gold, and that is it. The next one is the Beneath the Surface Anomaly. In this one, all you have to do is accept the quest and there'll be a bunch of moles burrowing under the ground. You stand next to each mole and they'll pop up, and if it says that it's a thief mole, if it's just a regular mole, then you don't kill it, but if it's a thief mole, then you kill that mole, and then that's pretty much it for that quest. Then the next one is the Rowdy Crowd Anomaly. You need to take the wagon you need to talk to the wagon in the middle and grab the rope and the sugar, and then you just catch any horse like usual. You open your inventory with the I key, you right click on the rope, after you click the bag, you right click on the rope, and then you catch the horse. After that, you walk towards it, do a little spacebar mini game, and I recommend if you have a low training level to feed it up to 5 sugar, like as many as you have, and then hopefully when you get on the horse it does not kick you. If it does, you got to talk to the wagon again, grab some more sugar, and try again. Once you capture the horse and you are able to get onto it just fine, you then jump off the horse and have him follow you to the wagon, and from there you can interact with the wagon to attach him to it. And that is pretty much it for that one. Now, after that, we have the Captivating Cruise Anomaly. When you spawn on the boat, you essentially just accept the quest and you interact with the various purple boxes around the boat. You're trying to find a flare. Once you find that flare in one of the boxes, it is RNG. It's not going to be in the same box for everybody. You then just go to the very tippity top of the highest point of the ship, which is right in the front. There's kind of a little prow that you can climb up on top, and you activate the flare. All the meanwhile, there will be a pirate ship that is shooting at you, and essentially what you got to do is just make sure that you're crouching every time it's in your range, or if you're a tanky enough class, you can just tank the hit and heal, and it's not a big deal. Then the next one is one that a lot of people are having some troubles with, and that's the Ahmed Anomaly. This one has 4 parts. In the first part, you need to talk to the Mewa and read the writing on the wall just up the stairs. And then what you got to do is after that, walk down the stairs a little bit and find the lamp on the wall. You then drop through the break in the pathway, and it'll put you onto an invisible platform. You then turn the wheel, and that's the first part done. Then you walk back up the stairs, you talk to the Mewa again, look at the clue, and from there, you have to kill 3 guards. If you kill a guard and 3 coins pop up above their head, then you know that is the correct wheel to turn next to them. There's going to be 3 wheels, one next to each guard. If you kill a guard and it has 3 coins, then you spin that particular wheel. Sometimes what happens is the wheels or the guards are not present. So if that ends up happening, I recommend hit your escape key and then hit the retry button, and hopefully that will work for you again. Or you can escape back to the Magnus and then re-accept the quest and go back in. But there is a lot of issues. But once again, try different graphical settings. You know, go to low detail, go to remastered. I didn't have any problem in remastered, so I presume that remastered is going to be the most stable for most of this, because that just seems to be the Pearl Abyss way. I believe their quality assurance testers probably use remastered. But then in the third part, you must fight a foe on the bridge. Basically, all you have to do is just dodge his attack and then hit him in the back of the head, and boom, that's a pretty easy completion. And then in the fourth part, you must defeat some monsters and locate the dog who is looking at the chicken. And then once you find the dog, you can see where the chicken is, and then you drop down onto the chicken's platform, and then you just walk up all the platforms all the way to the end. The next resolve is the Stormy Hills Anomaly. This one is also quite simple. You must stand in the middle of the lightning storm circle, and it'll, do blasts of lightning several times. All you have to do is just stay in the very, very middle of the circle until it turns green, I think like 4 or 5 times. Once that's done, it's boom, done, completion. And then we're on to the next one, which is the Support Beam Anomaly. All you have to do in this one is kill the monsters and protect the well until the cat appears. And that's pretty simple. Kudum and I believe Nuver or Garmoth, one of the dragons, will spawn and they'll do some fights. But as long as you're killing the monsters around the well, that's all you got to do. Now, moving on to the Scarlet Thread Anomaly. You must grab 4 pearls and drag them to each orb without crossing paths. So there's going to be 3 colors, and one color will have 2 orbs, so that's why there's 4 pearls in total. But you can follow the same path if you have 2 pearls of, say, yellow color like I did, and that way there you can pretty easily do this. But you essentially want to just path out how you're going to bring the blue orb sitting by the blue NPC over to the blue sphere with giving enough room for the red and yellow paths to not cross when you go to do those future colors as well. And essentially, once you've done that little puzzle, make sure that you're not walking too fast, because if you do walk too fast, then the orbs won't light up along the way on the individual pads. So you want to make sure that every single NPC has a direct path to an orb. And that's about it for that one. In the Peculiar Library Anomaly, this one is also very simple. You talk to the NPC and the order of the correct responses is 1, 3, and 2. If you can't talk to the NPC, like it's not taking any options from you, you just have to talk to more bookshelves. Eventually, when you talk to all the bookshelves, then the NPC will have more dialogue for you, and you simply just do number 1, then number 3, and then number 2, and that's it. And then for the end of tomorrow, you're going to have to grab the pearl from the back of the cart and carry it through the rain of arrows while following Jordine. The arrows have a very obvious pattern. If you observe it for like 3 cycles, I believe, you can tell the exact pattern of how it's going to be, but you basically just follow Jordine along and try to dodge the arrows, and it's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of bugs in this one. In Yonwas Memories, I pretty much brute force this one. There's probably a real way to do it, but it's really fast either way. All you have to do is talk to one torch and get kindling, and then take that kindling to one of the braziers. If that's the wrong brazier, you go back to the same torch, try it with another brazier. If that's not it, another torch, another brazier. And you essentially check every single torch and every single brazier until eventually they all 3 light up, and that's it. So, moving on to Southward Travels Anomaly, there will be a shining light behind the Mewa, and to halt the destruction, you need to look at the orange symbol above the shining light. So if you see where the Mewa is, you just turn around 180 degrees and see there is going to be a very large orange symbol right above that shining light. And you need to find the corresponding fragment in the surrounding rooms. So what you need to do is, if it says it's a donut or a circle, you need to find the donuts that are wedged in the sand, and there will be another beam of light next to it. You then grab the fragment from that beam of light and bring it on over, and then the symbol will change to another symbol, and let's say it's now a pyramid. Then you got to find the pyramid room, grab that fragment, and then essentially keep on doing that until the door opens, and then you can follow the Mewa into the next room. So the next one is Mirage Anomaly. There's going to be 5 donuts that are all present, and they'll all be red at the beginning, and you must do a memory game 5 times, perhaps in a row. I did it in a row. I don't know if you can fail, but essentially what happens is mobs will spawn in the room and 2 mobs will appear on the pads. You step on the pad of the mob that was not in the room at the start. So let's say that there was a fish and a dinosaur, and then all of a sudden 2 mobs appear on the pads, and there's a fish and a, some other, bird. The bird was never present in the original room, so you then step on the pad with the bird. And the memory game gets harder and harder. Eventually there'll be like 7 mobs, and you need to pick the 8th one that did not appear. So that's how you do that particular one. And you do that 5 times, and that's it. In the 3rd laboratory anomaly, Red Nose is inside of an orb, and you must control the size of this orb for a certain duration. Hitting the blue pillar makes the orb bigger, and hitting the red pillar makes it smaller. So what you need to do is keep the orb big enough to contain Red Nose fully, but small enough where the orb doesn't exceed the confines of the pillars. You don't want it to go outside of those pillars. And so there'll be text hints like orb is decreasing rapidly, and that'll give you a hint on what you should be doing. So if the orb is decreasing rapidly, you're going to want to hit the blue pillar several times to try to counteract that and make the orb bigger, because you don't want it to be too small to not be able to contain the Red Nose. Once you're done with that, the pillars will all turn white, and then you just talk to one of the pillars, and then talk to Chimera, and that's it. And then the next one is Where the Dragon Sleeps Anomaly. All you have to do is hit Q and walk forward while crouched the whole time, and you avoid hitting the pots of the dragon with any of your limbs. And after that, there is going to be a chest behind the dragon. You simply interact with that, and it's done. The Light-Bearing Pot Anomaly. All you have to do is just randomly choose some pots to try to find the hidden light. If you break too many pots, they'll all respawn, and you must guess again. But if you find the light with a few enough pots broken, then you just interact with the light, and that's about it. It's not a really big deal. You don't have a certain amount of chances. You just hit some pots, and if you see the light before they all disappear, then you've done it. Now into the next one, it's into the fire anomaly. This one was really easy. There's going to be 5 shining orbs, and there's going to be 1 that spawns at a time. You talk to the shining orb to grab it, and then place it on the pad around the mob in the middle. You have to do this until all the pads are full, and you may or may not have to avoid all of the other red circles that are happening. I got hit when I was dragging mine along, and I didn't seem to have any issues. So it's pretty simple. You just take those orbs of light and put them on the pads. And then in the very final anomaly, it's the Rudum Strike Back anomaly. This one, you are basically just a doorman. You talk to the Rudum and you get him to commune the orbs. As he is doing that, you must open and close the door based on who is trying to get in. If there's a large amount of mobs that are trying to get in, like Rudums and Orcs, and there's like, 7 mobs that are running towards the door, you want to close the door such that it shows a blue barrier, and then when the mobs run through that, they will get turned into monsters you can then kill. And you want to kill those monsters. However, if there are 2 monsters that are running towards the door that have staves in their hands, there'll only be 2 at a time, you want to let those ones in. So you want to turn the blue off on the door so that they can come through and help your other Rudum. And basically you do that, I think 2 or 3 times, and that is about it for that one. But after that, congratulations, you're officially done. That's everything we know. Hopefully you guys aren't too frustrated with the bugs. It does kind of suck that this was delayed for a week to hopefully fix a lot of these things, but there's still a lot of issues. But either way, I did this in about 5 hours while streaming. So this could have taken, potentially as fast as 4 hours, I would say, if you were really speedrunning it and you knew exactly everything like you will in this video now. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was useful. If you guys are buying pearls, make sure to use code CHOICE until November 2nd to support me during the partner revenue share event. And that's about it, guys. I will talk to y'all in the next video. Peace out.